It's time for the broship. But of course, we cannot start the video without the obligatory intro first, so here we go. Welcome back to the channel Dex Club, and an even bigger welcome to the newcomers. You may be asking, what is a Dex Club and how do I join this super awesome club? Well, the Dex Club is the name for my lovely subscribers, and the only way to join is to press that big obvious button that says subscribe and ring the bell for good luck. And while I have your attention, how about you consider joining my Patreon, where I have free and paid tiers just starting at $1 a month for all sorts of perks that can also be found on my Ko-Fi, where I have commission listings waiting to be explored. If you don't want to bother with that, that's fine. Guess you don't want to be on the super cool, awesome Patreon list that appears at the end of the video. And yes, we only have one Patreon at the moment. You could also follow my Instagram, TikTok, and Kara, where I post all my finished art and other content. So don't miss out! Everything listed is linked in the description of this video through my Linktree, and you can even find this link on my About page. Now enough of that, let's get into the video. I'll be honest y'all, I really don't have much to say here because Garroth and Laurence always had solid designs in Mystreet. Dated, yes, but solid. Starting with Garroth, I used to be weirded out by the face and voice not matching. But that was back when I thought every Bachelor character had to have some sort of buttery Markiplier voice. Now I think the complete opposite, and I prefer for more male characters to be like early Mystreet Garroth. And I say early because his character gets completely rewritten in later seasons. They turned him into a literal crybaby. And before you all start freaking out in my comments, you know who you are. Garroth is a sensitive character, and that's fine. There is nothing wrong with that. But it feels like he didn't get developed into someone who works alongside his emotions or works to better himself. He just becomes Wattpad emotional 24/7, and I'll say it right now, if you argue against me, you're probably barely over the age of 12. That's not to insult, that's to relate, because I was 12 when I watched this series, and I saw nothing wrong with it until now. And for reference, I'm 19. Anyways, alongside Garroth becoming sensitive and cutesy rather than just overall endearing and masculine, he gets turned into a werewolf. Which, I get it, it's self-sacrifice and whatever, but ugh! I'm sorry, I am so sorry. Werewolf Garroth is so ick for me. It's not cute, it feels weird, and it's treated with a weird sense of attention that screams afterthought and regret. Like, they had to make Garroth do something, so they made him do something that made him forced to be part of the main cast again because the focus was on Aaron and Afmal, but both of them were out of commission for a while, so we have to distract the viewers somehow. It's just lazy writing. Poor and lazy. I plan on doing a video where I go through all of Mystreet and I give an extensive review of it and how I would fix the writing. And I'm not just trying to claim I am the chosen one or whatever. I will admit my writing is not perfect, my art is not perfect, but I will fully believe my version of Mystreet just sounds better. I don't plan on rewriting the whole thing, of course, but I have a solution to make Mystreet its own story and not a modern ripoff of a previously made story MCD. So now that the rant is out of the way, let me discuss my Garroth redesign. Once again, I had another art awakening, so the style has increased in glory, and I love that for the character selection we have today because they deserve it. To start, I wanted Garroth's face to match his voice, and yeah, I kinda just drew Andy, but I mean, it makes sense. Not much changed for his design, other than I made sure my design made it clear that he was a bigger guy. Garroth just screams bulky character design, and so I made sure I drew him that way instead of trying to make him skinny legend anime boy. His clothes stayed relatively the same. I removed the gingham design because, again, it's just dated and somewhat unnecessary. I also desaturated his clothes, making him more warm blue rather than icy blue. I also made his sleeves short as well, to show off them big-ass forearms. Excuse me, I got a little excited. His forearms. Is this because I love the idea of him having a farmer's tan because it's incredibly endearing and funny to me? Yes. And if Zane can have a sunburn and freckles, then Garroth can have a silly tan. I also wanted to do better for the backgrounds of these designs, so I switched it up again, giving it more presentation than my previous works. Also, I gave him a bit of an indent on his chin to give him that Chad vibe that he thinks he has. Because he is a Chad. I love Garroth so much, y'all. Moving on to Laurence. This one was actually really scary to approach because of what I did. Laurence has always had a soft vibe about him, but he also was one of the main bachelors, and we know Afmal has a type. So I have a feeling that Laurence may be put up a front to be this mega beefcake or something until Aphmau inevitably chose Aaron, because Laurence noticeably becomes a background character shortly after that happened. He becomes a very family-oriented and gentle character, something that perfectly mixes with Garth's boisterous personality, which leads me to believe Laurence was always this way, because these personalities just mesh well and balance each other out. Unlike, let's say, Dante and Garroth, who butt heads quite a bit because they are almost the same personality. With that in mind, I wanted Laurence's outfit to reflect that personality. He was big into soccer and Phoenix Drop High, so I didn't turn him into Schmeagol. I had kept a good amount of lean muscle on him because that's how cardio works, and I gave him a slender bone structure, unlike Garroth, who made boxy and wide. Another feature of Laurence's design was the man bun. Part of me fully believes this is character accurate, and I think I saw this on an MCD fan art once, so that could be where I got it from. Either way, I think it looks really good on him, and it just works, you know? I also changed his clothes, which I was leading into before I got sidetracked. He wears this striped hoodie shirt thing, and while the design looks good, it doesn't fit the character very well. At least I don't think so. I'd prefer to see Laurence cleaned up and in something that feels like he could be spotted in a bookstore with a coffee. So I kept his same relative colors, but I just moved everything around. Now he has a cream undershirt, a blue vest, and a brown slacks. I also kept the stripes in his design, but I put them vertically, and they're on his socks rather than his shirt. I personally am in love with my Laurence design, and he and Garth both turned out wonderfully, and I'm very excited to show these designs to you all, as I am very proud of my work. But let me hear your thoughts in the comments. I love hearing from all of you, and I can't wait to keep making more art for everyone to enjoy. Now that we have completed the 2 redesigns, I'd like to thank you all for spending your time here with me and watching this video to the very end. Once again, consider joining my Patreon or my Ko-Fi, and if that's too much, then perhaps look into my Instagram, TikTok, or Kara. In the meantime, a big shout out to Kaitlyn, our token paid member who is getting all the goods and updates via Patreon. Thank you, Kaitlyn, and welcome to Dex Club exclusive. Now, with all that out of the way, once again, thank you all so much for watching, and now, let's roll the outro.